Hey everyone, welcome back to Automation. So, it's been a while since this last video where I made this Tower of Power car the basis for all of our performance testing. And, well, I'm excited to be back into this game and to tell you that I've come up with some different ideas because last time it was supposed to be the first episode of Tower of Power, and then it was kind of like a preliminary episode because we're still figuring things out, and now I've got it down. So here's what we're going to be doing. Instead of doing progressively more powerful cars starting at the top, so right now this car, as you can see, it's got 1620 or 1626.4 horsepower down at the bottom. That's a lot of power. That's too much. Too much for the start. So we're going to start lower. In fact, this car, which I've dubbed the 27-1.5, we're going to stop with the 0.5s after this. This is just the 1.5, is going to have 150 horsepower to start. That is not a lot, but I'm going to try to make the most that I can with 150 horsepower, but there are a few things to consider. So this chassis is going to stay the same. It's set up for 1626. It's going to stay exactly like it is. Tire sizes will not change. Gearing will have to change with each engine, and the configuration is always going to be the same as well. It's always going to be probably transverse, all-wheel drive. This setup is going to be the same. So in order to level the playing field, the only thing that's really going to be changing is engine and transmission, and then that's it. Everything else will stay the same. So weight will always be the same except varying by engine weights, obviously. Tires will be the same. They're still as sticky as can be. Its aero is going to be the same. Like, it's built for way more power than it has for now, but eventually we will get way past this. We will go well past it, in fact, if this turns out well. So that's how it's going to be. It'll let me get a lot of practice on the track as well as we go up, because we're going to be doing, so far I'm thinking we'll do 100 horsepower intervals. So this week is 150. Next time I do this, which will probably be December, will be 250. Or maybe we'll just double it every time or something. I don't know. I don't want to make too many episodes, but the goal is to get back to about 1500 horsepower, roughly, and then we'll see how that goes. Now that I say double it, I like the sound of doubling it, so maybe 150, 300, and then 3 to 6 is a big gap, and then 6 to 1200 is also a big gap, so that'll put us fairly close to this number. Anyway, let's get to it. All I've done basically is just clone the thing. I've changed it to be waspy instead of wasp. I like the car a lot, and I think the styling and stuff is all going to be the same. We're not going to need to change much. So yeah, what I said before, this thing makes 1626 horsepower. What I'm going to attempt to do is make the best 150 horsepower capped engine that we can make. The best possible thing that we can do. So however that's going to look, I don't know. Capping the power in this game is a little bit difficult because you have to either restrict something or just have it be like perfectly touching that number. So yeah, we'll see. In the name of weight savings, I'm going to try an inline 3, and we don't need 2 liters, I don't think, either to get our big numbers. But with that, I believe this car was 796. It is down to 662, so we have lost a significant amount of weight in the front just because of this engine change. It's going to make a big difference. For the sake of the build for now, we'll turn off turbos. Although turbos can be helpful, we don't need them. We're already making 250 horsepower. That's insane. Let's drop the engine size. Like, this is just too much. Okay, I'm going for a very large bore, which is going to be really, really good for high RPM. Hopefully we can rev this thing out in every single gear, and that will be better for it. Currently it's only making 128 horsepower, but we will hopefully be able to change that. It's still dual overhead cam, aluminum, magnesium, all that stuff. Still plus 15. I want the best of the best. This is what the engine looks like, just so you're aware. Now this header is a relic of the past, so we can get a lot more power just going for a tubular race looking knot thing there. That should have upped it fairly significantly. Yeah, 177, immediately too much. I'm just going to AI tune it for power. This will basically adjust all the sliders until it's as efficient as it can be. 228 even with this size of engine. Keeping in mind, I believe we are just over a liter. That is a ton of power. Pretty flat torque curve. It definitely makes a decent amount of torque even at the top end, Power curve is also pretty darn good, like all things considered. Revving up to almost 12,000 RPM is exactly what I wanted and exactly what I like to see. Compression is extreme. This is just based on the AI tune, but we can squeak out another 5 horsepower pretty easy, I think. Oh yeah, this is running methanol as well. I'm just going to stick with that fuel just to keep things consistent. We could run nitromethane, we could run anything else that's in here. There's a lot of stuff. Methanol's good enough. I'm loving the exact 1-inch exhaust there. That is beautiful. That is really tiny. But just a little bit of cam profile tweaking, a little bit of spring and lifter tweaking. That's actually losing us power. But cam profile is gaining it. Oh, 150.1. Can I lose more? There we go. That's exactly 150 horsepower. And everything else is good. I think that curve is decent. It's very flat torque, very like straight up and down type of power curve. Not a lot down low, but really good power up top. Basically, you want to be about here and up. 7,000 and higher to get this thing to really go. So we'll keep that in mind. 7K and up. Nothing less. In order to differentiate this car, I love the yellow, but I'm going to change it just slightly because we'll need something else for every edition. Greenish shall be the color for 150. This big hole in the front is completely unnecessary now because there's no intercooler, but anyway, let's get on to the gearing. So things are probably wildly out of control here. I do also want to make sure that our basis is going to be good. Like our brakes are pretty much as big as they can get. Assists and things like that are pretty important, otherwise it's going to be all over the place, so we'll keep that stuff on. Here is going to be the difference maker. You can see that top speed obviously is way down from the previous car. We would not even use these other 6 gears, but we'll keep the manual 6-speed all-wheel drive and stuff, and just adjust these sliders as our gearbox modification. Power split and stuff, it's not exactly good anymore. I like the 65-35. But as a basis, we'll probably just stick it like right here. It'll be 55-45 untouched for the rest of the editions. So because I want to wring out the gearing as much as I can, I'm going to drop this down to 259 top speed. That's going to be good enough, but that'll allow us to actually go through all 6 gears. First gear 66, I think that's probably too long of a gear. So I'm going to shorten it down to 50, 3.6 seconds. This is probably going to increase that. Yeah, so we need less of a first gear. The spread is all good, we don't need a speed limiter. 243, and it should be pretty ridiculously fast. If we take a look at all the other graphs, it's going to be an interesting car in a lot of ways, just based on how things look here. Like, this is not bad. This is interesting. That is pretty whack. That's not bad at all. Tires and stuff are all fine. Into oversteer, it could be worse. Oversteer, in my opinion, is better than understeer. At least a little bit more predictable. We have way too much brake, but that's to be expected. We don't need to use all the brakes. I will have to just be a lot more careful with my braking because these brakes are way too strong for a 150 horsepower car. We got really good downforce for something that's this light. We don't need much, and everything else is gonna stay exactly the same. So, the Waspy 150 horsepower version, 10,800 RPM peak power with a red line of 11,600 is going out into BeamNG. Let's pick a track. I'm gonna have to do some warm-up laps and figure things out. 481.7 kilos is like, that's not much. It's quite light. Gotta put all this stuff into the spreadsheet. Anyways, into BeamNG we go. Hey everyone, this is not the track or the vehicle that you thought it was, but this is indeed my daily. Oh man, 4th gear pulls like heck. Sorry, 3rd. There's 4th. The reason why I'm doing this is mostly just because I want to try something just to make sure the wheel's working, and to prove to you again that I actually drive these dailies that I make, because yes, sometimes they are painfully bad and they need to be driven. Okay, let's switch it up. Let's get into the Waspy, sorry. Changing names on things is never a good idea. I realized I'm looking at the mic. I changed the camera location to be up here. I'm using my webcam for this, which is not something I've done before. We're trying a different setup today because I really want to make these videos better quality without making them super difficult to make. So webcam, actual mic, full setup. All I need is a keyboard taped to the wall and we're set. Okay, this is the Wasp E 150 horsepower variant. Very, very light. I think it came out to under 500 kilos, which is crazy. It's in my updated leaderboard, although I'm not going to release the leaderboard yet. There's nothing on it to look at. This is the first car that we're going to be driving, so this is the only time on the leaderboard. But I haven't picked out a track, so I'm going to do a couple just runs because I have an idea, and this whole map here is a clue as to what I might do. It's pretty much down to either doing half of Pikes Peak, which is too much, and I don't want to make a custom event, or going to do some automation hill climb stuff on the automation test circuit, which is where we are. But we'll have to see. There's really only one way to know how good the car is, and that's by driving it. So let's see how it does. Oh yeah, it's got absolutely nothing down low. But you saw there, I mean, it was only like 50 k's an hour, but it brings the power when you get up high. Oh, it feels good to actually shift a gearbox. I realize as well that the screen is making me look whiter than a sheet. I gotta say, it's realistic. Third pull, fourth. Oh, I have total distance on still from the last video. We don't necessarily need that, but it'll be fun to see. Fourth is pretty lackluster, under 7,000, but I mean, I could do paddle shifters as well. It's probably quicker to have two hands on the wheel, isn't it? I've never done... Oh yeah, I don't know how to do paddles and clutch, so that's gonna take some practice. Fifth is pretty good. Fourth, third, second. She ripped hard. Third, fourth, come on. Fifth, and I'm not going to be able to stop that. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's practice with some tracks and see where we're at. But this is a lot better. My goodness, that's actually drivable. So improvements have been made. So the automation test circuit has several hill climbs. It has Hill Climb 2, which looks pretty decent, and Hill Climb 1, which has a couple of switchbacks in it. Might be very difficult to do. I'm thinking I might go Hill Climb 2. We'll try Hill Climb 2. If I don't like it, we'll try Hill Climb 1 and see how that goes. Hopefully decent. Obviously, we can only do one lap with this, but once I pick the track, we're kind of stuck with it. The thing is that I have to pick something that works with all varying horsepower levels, because otherwise I'm going to screw myself later on. This is going to be great for 150, but when we get to 900, it's like, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm a little nervous. This is a dirt circuit, which I am very, very not prepared for, which means that this is not going to work for my purposes, but it's good for just a little test run to see how things go. So let's try it. Let's see how it goes. Let's just do a quick little dirt run. Okay, I'm going to call it there. This track is fine. It's just not really what this car needs. Okay, asphalt. This is a good start. This is the type of place that I think I might be able to throw down a little bit and hopefully be able to do well. So we'll start in first. The car's not even on. It's stalled. Good start to things. Well, time doesn't matter. What matters is completing the circuit and seeing how it is. Clutch drop. First gear super short. I mean, I did that to myself. Basically, first through third, completely unnecessary in most situations. Fourth gear, though, rips pretty good. Man, I gotta get used to the buttons and clutch thing going on. This is this is gonna be a tough circuit to do. Man, oh man, that was a bump and a half. Ah, man, there's a moat on the side of the track on both sides. Who does curbs like that? Come on. Man, this is going to be a tough course if I try to do something like this with crazy horsepower. Okay, cut it off here a little bit short. I got to improve my skills as a driver. I just have to. Like, there's only one way to do it, and that is to fail 1 trillion times. Wow. And then do it again. I think something broke in the car because the force feedback is nuts. even though I haven't crashed yet. It is just going crazy right now, which is not to be expected, and not really helping my run. And now somehow, after crashing, it's fixed. Okay, I think that I'm slowly figuring out this track, and slowly, I mean slowly, this is my like 5th attempt, but basically 3rd gear is where you gotta be. Just let it hang up on the revs. Take these corners 3rd or 2nd, because we don't want to drop the revs too much for maximum speed on this car. We don't want it to drop below 7k, so if it drops below 7, you downshift, and then just go as high as you want at this point. Like, rev it to 12. It don't matter, just get it up. Like here, probably better off in 2nd. But we finally reached the summit in the snow, and I'm gonna post at least 1 lap. Probably a crap lap, but ooh, at least something. Okay, goodness. We have a benchmark, 201, okay, 201. Let's do better than that. I do like this circuit. I like how it changes as well. It changes not just the, so we gotta be 4th for the first area, but it changes not just the scenery, because we're going up and up and up, but it's also changing in elevation significantly. The corners are tight. It's a good thing. Like, this is something that is beneficial for me as a driver and as a BeamNG enthusiast and manual transmission enthusiast as well. Is learn how to drive, you idiot. Basically is what this course is telling me, and I'm trying to step up to that challenge. Oh, man, I'm touching the limiter, but then I have to go down immediately here, so 2nd gear is not really ideal for this. See, we still are making decent power through some of these sections. I'm a little nervous through places like this. Oh, as I should be, as I should be. Oh no, we're not continuing that one. There's one good reason why. Alright, we're in the snow. Oh man, I'm getting darn close. Gotta hit the brakes. That was too much brakes. The brakes in this car are so strong, it's basically endless braking power. Like, you press the pedal, you stop dead. Like, that's it. There's nothing else to it. So, with so little weight, this car is very, very maneuverable. 146. That's a little bit better. Oh, she's vibing like crazy. 146. That was a pretty focused lap. I did have a little bit of a spat with a wall at the beginning of it, just a touch. But other than that, pretty darn good. I'm gonna do this like 5 more times. This is the track. It's Hill Climb 1 automation test track. Hill Climb 1, and I think that I have room to improve. I don't think that more power is always going to mean faster cars here, because we'll get better acceleration, we will get better top speed, but gearing is huge. We need short gears, and then cornering is huge, and weight as well. So it's going to be tough. Like, next time if we go 300, I might even try to just turbocharge this engine just to try and keep the weight down as much as possible. 300 horses in this car is almost like a 1-to-1 kilo to power weight ratio, which is nuts if we can make that happen. But it's going to be insane. Like, this is already nuts, but at least I can complete a lap. 150. Okay, let's go again. Good news, everybody. The tires are too wide to fit into the rut on the side of the road. Don't ask me how I know. Feels like I'm on a roller coaster in first person view here. Well, this is hood view. The first person view in automation cars is off unless you set it up properly, so this is what you got. It's not bad. Oh, this is going to be a decent lap, I think. Going to be decent. Basically, I've discovered that you hold it in third for the entirety of the track, and you do a lot better. Way better. 143.9. That is good. Yes, yes, yes! Oh! Boys, you know I had a 130 in me. That's a 138. Essentially, what I've learned so far in the last several laps is, 1, the game is mildly broken. 2, I have a lot more turn-in with this car, just due to the way that it handles, than I thought I did. And I just cut like 4 seconds off the time. Actually, 5 seconds is 130. Well, yeah. 5 seconds off the time? Yikes, man. That's insane how much difference that makes. Also, I figured out why have any mechanical sympathy on a car when it's a digital car. So I'm still shifting, but I'm flat foot shifting, which is not something I would suggest doing in your mom's car. Don't do it. Think about it, but don't do it. There's just something so satisfying about chasing better numbers. 138 is going to be darn close to my last time. Oh, geez, 139. Man. Alright. Jeez. 138.9 might be the best I can do right now. But that's not bad at all. That is darn good, especially for 150 horsepower. I have a feeling that my times are going to get worse the higher the power goes. This is going to be good. This is going to be a good series. Now that we've got it settled and defined, it'll be fun. So let me take you through a full lap. You get to see the whole thing, unless I screw it up under pressure, because I've been working on it silently this whole time. Okay, here we go. This is how we do it. You cannot see my thing anymore. It disappeared. Flat foot into second. Flat foot into third. Flat foot into fourth. My controller just fell off. Oh. Well, yeah, this is what I meant by trying again. All that stuff that you just saw, except this time without any controllers flying off. I'm in fourth right now. This first area, you gotta do it in fourth. It's just a fast spot. But then I downshift to third about here, and then my daughter screams out and cries, and I ignore it, because I'm too busy playing games. Sorry, child. Games come first. That's a joke. Don't take me too seriously. Now, this turn-in is significant because then I hit a barrier and I ride the barrier into a block wall. That's how I get the good times. You know what? Just watch. Oh. My controller has fallen into my knee. Let's hope that doesn't change anything here. Like press the brake or something. That corner is so tough because you gotta stay away from the wall. Oh, this one's tough too. I'm trying to push harder and harder, but sometimes it just doesn't work. No brakes! Okay, this is the container corner. I always have to hit it a little bit here, but then you just fly through the rest of this corner. Just kiss the wall on the way out. That's how you do it. These hairpins, or switchbacks, I guess, are pretty difficult, but it's not too bad as long as you hug the inside and try not to brake too much. This is not going to be a crazy time, I don't think, just based on that. But brakes are like kind of optional unless you screw up and bring. Oh, that's slow. Oh, okay, that almost screwed me up. Hit the slowdown button. Cheating a little bit by going into slow time. Yeah, that wasn't an amazing run, but it always ends the same way, by falling over. You get the idea. I did that before, but better, and that's how I got the time. You know what? Let's end it there. That was a pretty darn good Tower of Power episode, and I did well as well. Getting 138.9, I believe was my time, 138.9 something. I am pretty pleased with that. I think that that's where we should be, and I'm very happy to say that this car is finally drivable. So thank you for watching. 150 horsepower edition of Tower of Power. Next week, probably 300 unless somebody has something to say. But I'm thinking we go up by either 150 intervals or we do like an exponential increase. So it would be 300, then 450, and then like 750. So we'd be adding the previous like number to it. It's going to be complicated, but hopefully it works. Either that, or I can make this into a trillion episodes and we go up by 50 every single time. Next week 200, or next month 200, and then just over and over again. But oh, that's clutch issues. Oh yeah, okay. You know what? We got to see it. We need to know. What's it like when you drive off a cliff in an extremely light vehicle? The force feedback is going to be bananas. Okay, we got stuck on a tree. Well, that is to be expected. See you guys again next week. Thank you for watching. Well, maybe not next week. I make videos every other week now, but hopefully Tower of Power again in December. Christmas edition. It's going to be fun. See you there.